Welcome back, everyone, to Author Story. I am your host, Alexander Lim, and this episode's featured book, which you can check out by clicking on the Amazon link in the video description below, is Rio, a love story, How My Dog Saved My Life. The author, Joni Darc Shepherd, lives in the mountains of New Jersey on the east coast of the United States. She also works to save our Earth's environment and biodiversity and loves living life with her dog, Rio. So, Joni, welcome to Author Story. Thank you very much for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Alexander.
You're welcome. All right, first off, Joni, okay, first off, feel free to call me Alex. That'll be fine.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, okay, Joni, first off, a little bit about yourself. This book is essentially about a dog. So, when did you start liking dogs?
Oh gosh, since I was a little girl, my older sister, always had dogs, and
Mm,
we always had at least one dog in the house. So that's when I first started liking dogs.
mm-hmm,
Um, as time went on, I became closer to them and finally got my own dog. My mom would never let me have a dog after my sister had all her dogs. She
okay,
said, no,
okay.
no, no, no more. So when I went out on my own, I finally was able to have a dog and rescued a black lab mix. And what a sweetheart. He had a heart of
Mm,
gold, and we became very, very close.
mm,
The dog that has totally stolen my heart, I mean, all of them have, but
mm.
the one that has totally stolen my heart is Rio, the one that I wrote the book about.
All right, great. So yeah, so you've been working and living and being with dogs for years. So I just like to ask a little question because there are a lot of folks who would say, that a dog is a dog is a dog, that's it. But this really isn't the case, is it?
No, it's not. I've had family that have said, "Oh, it's only a dog. Why do you treat it so well?"
Right.
Um, I believe that they are little angels in
Mm,
fur, little angels with fur that are sent here. The right one comes along at the right moment, it seems. Rio and I have built up such a relationship. He is like a little person. He's
mhm,
given me total unconditional love. He's been there and he's done things for me mentally and emotionally that I hate to say humans have not been able to do.
okay. All right.
He's been an inspiration for me in sad times, and
Mm,
has inspired me
mm,
to go on and to get out there and shine,
mhm,
pretty much to get out there and shine and set new goals and put me on a new journey,
mm.
a wonderful journey.
Right. Okay. Okay. So before we continue, I'd just like to do a little sidebar here, sort of like a excuse me, public service announcement for our listeners. What should, after all these years with dogs, what should people consider, in your opinion, before they become a dog guardian?
I think they should do their homework.
Okay.
Um, homework if they want to get a dog,
Mm-hmm.
get look at the dog books, look on the internet, and
Mm-hmm.
have your criteria pretty much as to what will work for you, what you're actually looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take in a big dog? Do you need to get a little dog? I mean, some
Mm-hmm.
things are like quite common sense. Do you want a dog that drools or doesn't drool?
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
um, the type of personality, the activity level. Some
Mm-hmm.
dogs are so active they may not work with your lifestyle, or they may be the
Mm-hmm.
perfect fit. So you might want a younger dog, an older
Mm-hmm.
dog that is already broken in somewhat, that is a little slower maybe in its ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a puppy will be more demanding, and
Right.
you will
Right.
have to put more time in.
Yeah.
Um, and then too, once you think that you've found the perfect match, I recommend that you go visit someone who has those dogs. A perfect event actually would be something like a local Meet the Breeds event, where some of the local groups, the dog clubs,
Mm-hmm.
will exhibit some of their dogs, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see actually how they behave.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, every dog is different, just like people.
Right. Right.
You could have the same breed and have a totally different dog. Some can be more hyper, some can be more happy.
Mm-hmm.
But do as much homework as you can. And I'm not saying to get like a purebred dog necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Rescue dogs are fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
and I encourage that you do rescue a dog. There are so many beautiful dogs there in rescue that need a home, and
Mm-hmm.
they appreciate totally. They know that you're helping them, and they take you into their hearts and will give you love as well the rest of their lives.
Right, right. And I mean, when considering becoming a dog guardian, I mean, people should really take this seriously, right? I mean, not because I'm thinking like the Christmas season is over, and I'm sure I hate to say it, but some folks would give other people dogs as presents just for the heck of it, without taking all those things into consideration.
People do that with good intentions,
Hmm.
trying to help the dog, but you need to take this seriously because it's for your life. It's for the dog's total life.
Hmm.
Um, and some dogs can live, upwards of 18 years. I've heard
Hmm.
some dogs have lived 20 years. So it's a
Hmm.
lifetime commitment.
Hmm. Right, right. So this is something really that shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, the dog as a present thing, really, this in the end, it doesn't really it might not work out really for the person and for the dog.
Correct. The person may not want a dog at that time in their life,
Right,
and
right.
it may just not be the type of dog for them.
Hmm.
It might be a nice dog, for the person that's giving it,
Right,
but the person may not want a dog. The person
right.
may not, like that type of dog. It might just
Hmm.
not be the right fit.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So next, the book is essentially a story, of how a dog, Rio, helped lift you out of depression. So I just like to get a little into the circumstances behind that, not to give everything away, but what were the circumstances behind your falling into depression?
My older sister had contracted multiple sclerosis, but
Hmm.
um, later got brain cancer, and it was misdiagnosed. Everyone kept saying that it was just the MS. She
Uh-huh.
passed at an early
Okay.
age, and then 2 months later, my aunt passed away. Then the dog that I had before Rio passed away a month
Mm.
later. I became my mom's caretaker. She was
Mhm.
91 at the time,
Right, right.
and took in my sister's dog. And shortly thereafter, they both contracted lymphoma cancer.
Uh,
It was totally a horrible time. After my first dog Marley passed away, I called the breeder and asked her if she had a puppy that would make me laugh,
mhm,
and she said, "I have a 1-year-old. You can
mhm,
have Rio,
mhm,
but you have to show him in the show ring."
mhm,
And that was my first laugh. I never
mhm.
showed anything before, and
Okay,
so
okay.
I committed to do that. I took lessons, went out into the conformation ring. I did get Rio's championship. I committed to this dog that I fell in love with
Mhm,
that I would get his championship, and I ended up taking him to Westminster and showed him
mhm.
there because he was entitled to do so.
All
Um,
right.
he's take, he's taken me on quite a journey.
Uh-huh.
We've tried different dog sports. He's
Uh-huh.
become my dance partner,
Okay.
and now we're a certified therapy dog team,
Uh-huh.
making other people's lives happy, and it also makes us happy, making them happy. It's been very fulfilling for us. So he's really changed my life, and I wanted to memorialize my sister and my mom
Mhm,
and him and others. So I wrote a
mhm,
book. I wrote this book, and he keeps taking me on a journey. It's
mhm,
been leading me to book signings and meeting new people and meeting wonderful people like you being on your show.
mhm.
Um, the the world keeps opening up because of this little dog.
All right, great. So, just I'd like to posit a before and after question, just for the benefit of our listeners, because before you got Rio, you were depressed, you were really into that, and after Rio, you're now this. Your life has changed. So, who was Joni before Rio came, and who was Joni after Rio came?
Joni before was very sad, very, I
Mm.
hate to use the term depressed, but I
Uh-huh.
have to
Right.
admit that. Yeah, and I was very saddened, and I felt like my whole world had fallen apart. My mom and my
Mm-hmm.
sister were pretty much my cheerleaders and best friends and all, and I lost them.
Right.
And so I felt kind of lost, very saddened, and um, lost part of myself. I lost a lot of my confidence. And my will to do things. There were
Mm-hmm.
mornings I just
Mm-hmm.
woke up, didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to
Okay.
hide.
Okay. Okay.
um, yeah, and Rio came along, and just with his, smiling face every morning, and
Mm-hmm.
um, pretty much telling me, "Where are we going to go today, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go do something." And I had made that commitment I would show him, so I did.
Right.
And getting out there, the alarm would go off some mornings at 3 or 4 in the morning to go
Hmm.
to a show,
Uh-huh.
and I just wanted to turn over, but it was those little eyes staring at me with a smile. Where are we going today? And it was like he would have such a good time,
Hmm.
and he still does at different shows and trials,
Hmm.
and he's so cute and endearing, and he's still a big part of my heart. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, he changed me. He got me out there. I've made a
Hmm.
lot more new friends. He's opened up doors for me, um,
Nice.
encouraged me to go on and make new goals and
Mm-hmm.
commit to do bigger and more things. And I actually used to be quite shy,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and now I don't consider myself shy. Well, a little bit, but people don't think I
Okay.
am.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've run around the ring in front of hundreds of people. I've fallen. In the ring, I've tripped on things, and
Right.
now
Right.
I
Right.
guess where I used to be like upset,
Uh-huh.
now I just laugh at myself. It's like a whole new world. I was in a sheep trial, and all this is in the book. I was in a sheep
Hmm.
trial,
Right. Right.
uh,
Right.
sheep herding, and like I would never picture myself doing sheep herding, but Rio's a
Hmm.
herding dog, so I'm out
Hmm.
there with these sheep
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
trial with Rio, and I didn't know that this place floods frequently, and that
Hmm.
there's like 5 inches of mud, and that
Right.
you
Right.
really need to wear knee-high boots. I didn't know
Right.
any of
Right.
that. So here I am with my Merrills walking around in the mud, and they came off, and here I am in my socks, and I was
Right.
like, all I said was I worked too hard not to finish this trial, so I was
Right.
running around in my socks. I mean, it was just there's been so many funny times. He's really opened up doors for me, and
Mm.
I probably have actually blossomed into myself that I
Hmm.
never was before.
Right. Okay. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about Rio. Now he's a Belgian Tervuren. Did I pronounce correctly? Tervuren.
Tervuren.
Tervuren. Okay, Tervuren. Okay. All right. Tervuren. He's a Belgian Tervuren. So yeah. Okay. So when someone says the word Belgian with the dog breed, I usually think of something like a Malinois. They're better known.
Yes,
So the Tervuren is not as well known. Can you just tell us a little bit about this breed's personality, what it's all about?
sure. First, I'd like to note that the Malinois is sort of a cousin to the Tervuren. There's four
Hmm.
Belgian breeds that are very similar, and in Europe, they're pretty much treated the same in
Hmm.
in competitions. Um,
Okay.
so yes, there's Rio's version, which is a long hair version
Hmm.
and multicolored. The
Hmm.
Malinois looks more like a small German Shepherd.
Hmm.
There's a sheepdog that a Groenendael that is solid black, just like Rio, and
Hmm.
gorgeous, just like Rio. And then
Hmm.
there's a Lacanois, which is a wavy-haired version.
Hmm.
And all of them are recognized by the American Kennel Club as separate breeds,
Hmm.
unlike in Europe where they're considered like one.
I
Um,
see.
yeah, and so Rio is an exception probably to the breed. I mean, he's he's very, very sweet and very endearing.
Hmm.
He's such a comedian, and many of the Belgians are that way. Some of them are much more serious than Rio,
Hmm.
I've
Right.
seen from experience.
Okay.
But he's a character. He's a flirt. He's unlike many dogs. He's friendly with just about every animal that he's
Mm.
met. As you can see in the book, there's a number of photos. We met a camel on a
Hmm.
sheep farm,
Okay.
and Rio went right up to it, tail wagging,
Hmm.
and the camel, who is pretty friendly because he's been pretty socialized, but
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
they can be standoffish and sometimes a little nasty. But
Yeah, yeah.
Rio, most dogs would probably see the camel and bark at it.
Hmm.
Rio just wagged his tail, went up to him, and they were nose to nose. Like,
Hmm.
"Hey, I'm Rio. How you doing?"
Hmm.
And he's done that with so many other animals. He's done that with bunny rabbits,
Hmm.
with cats. Although cats don't have a positive reaction, they always like seem to hiss at Rio. um, yeah, even though he wags his tail. With horses, he's met horses on one of our training
Mm.
farms, and I was warned that one of them could be a little nasty, but
Hmm.
out out of all the three horses, every single one of them went up to Rio and just really friendly. He's just got this aura about him of
Mm-hmm.
love. He's just so
Mm.
sweet and endearing. And I have to say that every place we go, every dog show, he finds at least one girlfriend and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
has a couple of them fighting over him. He's just so sweet, and he's a gentleman. He'll
Mm.
just wag his tail, smile, and he'll put his paw out like, "Hi, you want to play?"
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they just adore him.
Nice. So, usually when I think of a Belgian dog, then these are high energy dogs. At least I imagine it to be. Is Rio much the same, or is he more
Yes,
laid back?
all the Belgians are very high strung, especially
Okay.
when they're puppies.
Right.
When they're puppies, the Malinois is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would like to say, like, don't rush out and get a Malinois. Don't make it
Yeah.
your first dog. You'll be in for an awakening
Yeah. Uh-huh.
because yeah, they're used for military and police dogs
Mm-hmm.
frequently,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all the Belgians are very, very smart dogs. All the
Mm-hmm.
sheep dogs are because they're pretty much working dogs. They're relied upon to do a lot of different jobs. The Belgians are pretty much there's a phrase that says for the Tervuren, and this
Mm-hmm.
goes for all the Belgians, that they have a title in the before their name starts and titles after their name.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much can do it all. Some dogs are specialized in one thing, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
nose work and sniffing. Others
Right.
specialize
Right.
in herding. The Belgians can pretty much do it all.
Mm-hmm.
They can do the sheep herding. They can do
Mm-hmm.
tracking and search and rescue,
Mm-hmm.
therapy dog work, obedience and obedience competition and
Mm-hmm.
rally, different agility work, you name it, pretty much they can do it. The barn hunting, where
Right.
they search for little pet rats that are hidden in bales of hay.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that. They do lure coursing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're very talented. They're very eager to learn. They want to please their owners.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you mentioned that Rio's been in several competitions. I just like to get first off, I'd like to get off of this. What started you all on on all of this confirmation training? For the benefit of those who aren't aware what confirmation training is, what is this all about?
This is their dog shows basically
Mm-hmm.
where AKC or there's other venues, UKC, and in Europe
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of venues where dogs are shown. They're purebred dogs. They're shown before a judge who knows the breeds and are
Mm-hmm.
certified to judge them.
Right.
And the dogs are competing against each other, and the goal of it is to select the dogs with that have the best traits that meet the standards set by
Mm.
the dog clubs.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, and the different traits they're very detailed. It could be the
Mm-hmm.
size of the dog, the shape of the dog, whether the
Right.
dog
Right.
stands squarely,
Uh-huh.
um, the gait of the dog, how they
Uh-huh.
move around the ring, how they
Uh-huh.
stand, if there's any kinds of flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes dogs may have like some kind of coloring flaw. Some
Mm-hmm.
dogs are supposed to be solid black,
Mm-hmm.
um, and if they have white, they're disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Personality wise, certain standards will say the
Mm-hmm.
dog must act a certain way,
Right.
be aloof or be very friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the judges will look at each dog and pick the one that they believe meets the breed standard best.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay. All
what
right.
what they're trying to do is extend the quality of the dogs that are representing the breed. The dogs that win,
Mm,
like first place, are usually the ones that are
right.
most in demand for breeding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So all right. So this is not just about good looks then. I mean, this really has an impact on how the how the breed's maintained, how it carries forward through generations.
Yes, yes.
Mm, all right. Okay. Okay. And since then, of course, as you mentioned, you and Ryu have gone on to other things like sheep herding and all that stuff. What are some of the other things that that Rio has done? I mean, in terms of competitions or heck, just hanging around.
We've tried so many things. I mean, Rio is good at hanging around. We have a lot of fun. He loves his belly rubs and
Okay.
going
Okay.
going for long walks. I mean, he is my, friend, house dog.
Mm-hmm.
He stays inside
Mm-hmm.
and loves life, and he's very spoiled, as you can imagine. Um, but we have tried many different dog sports.
Mm-hmm.
I try to try different things and see what he likes,
Mm-hmm.
and we go as far as he wants to go with it. We've tried obedience, the
Mm-hmm.
formal obedience competition,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gotten a number of titles doing that. But then
Mm-hmm.
at one point he said, "Mom, I don't feel like retrieving this thing, that I would."
Okay. Okay.
He said, "I don't feel like doing that." So I was like, "Okay, we'll move on to something else." We
Okay.
tried we tried agility,
Mm-hmm.
and he did very well. He loves to do the jumps. He loves
Mm-hmm.
to do a lot of what that offers. But it was kind of funny. It took a while for us to get him to go through the tunnel, the
Uh-huh.
agility tunnel. He told me he was afraid of darkness, but it
Uh-huh.
was kind of, if it was a straight tunnel, he would run right through it. Once it
Mm-hmm.
got curved, he didn't want to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my instructors had a very funny solution. She took one of Rio's girlfriends, put her at the
Mm-hmm.
other end of the tunnel, and
Okay.
would you believe that Rio ran right through it, no hesitation at all, just to get to his girlfriend?
Okay.
it, it was really cute. But the thing that stopped us from doing agility, he's afraid of heights, I discovered. So
Uh-huh.
they have a dog walk that goes quite high. It goes up to 5 feet. He has to walk up there on this like 5 foot platform.
Right.
He'll do it at half the height, but at full height, he's not into that. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's fine. But there's plenty of other things that we've done. We've done the trick dog, the American Kennel Club, and an entity called Do More with Your Dog
Mm-hmm.
promotes dog tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So Rio's gotten a number of titles doing dog tricks, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of fun tricks. And one of my favorites that we've done is called mimicry,
Mm-hmm.
and I find it amazing myself. I will do something and I will tell Rio first. I say, watch me, and then I'll do a
Mm-hmm.
spin. And
Okay.
then I'll say, do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taught him, he'll then do a spin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll tell him, Rio, watch me. And then I'll sit down on a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And Rio watches me, and I can see a light bulb going on. And then
Okay.
he'll actually sit. It's like a delayed reaction kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, I've done something where I say, Rio, do this, and I'll bow down, put my hands on the floor, and
Mm-hmm.
he'll do the same thing. He'll do his little stretch, which is
Mm-hmm.
really, I love to do that in the nursing home, especially for the residents. They get such a
Right.
kick his tricks and his antics and expressions.
Right.
Um, so we've done the tricks. We've done barn hunting, which, as I
Mm-hmm.
explained, it's the sport where you have they're pets actually. They're
Mm-hmm.
rats
Mm-hmm.
kept in plastic canisters, so they're totally protected from the dogs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the canisters are hidden in a course of bales of hay,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot see them. The dog
Mm-hmm.
has to sniff the rat out,
Right.
and so
Right.
there's a little bit of training in that. And so we trained with that. And one of my best days doing that, what they do is they have competitions, and you have a couple of minutes to do three things. One of them is to find the rat, and he could find it, but I have to call it and be
Mm-hmm.
correct. And
Right.
if and they move the rats around, like every 3 or 5 rats, competitors, they move a different rat
Mm-hmm.
um, into a different spot. So the
Mm-hmm.
scent will linger in different spots. So
Mm-hmm.
you have
Mm-hmm.
to be careful and know when to call that the rat is really where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to get your dog to go through a straight tunnel
Mm-hmm.
um, on the lower courses, and then also to jump up on a bale of hay with four paws on that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do that within, I believe it's like about, I think it's 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
My best day doing this, it was fun. I had two trials, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and
Mm-hmm.
in the morning we disqualified. I called it too soon. It's where the rat used
Mm-hmm.
to. So I was asking myself, should I stick around? I have to wait like 3 hours for the
Right.
next trial. And I said, you know what? We drove all this way. We're staying. We're going to do
Right.
this. Rio's here. I'm waiting in line, and the woman behind me is so happy. She said, my Airedale, which is a dog that was actually bred for finding rats on the
Mm-hmm.
riverbanks. So it's this big dog. She's going on about how happy she is. She got first place
Mm-hmm.
in the trial. Her dog is so good, and a star. So I'm like
Mm-hmm.
thinking, I better leave now. And go home. But I said nope. They opened up the door and they said, come on in. So off we went.
All right.
Well, you have to stand and wait until the judge says, start.
Mm-hmm.
So I take Rio's collar off. He has to run what they call run naked.
Mm-hmm.
And I took his collar off. I'm holding him, and she says, "Go." Well, I didn't even say go. Rio heard that. He took off. He ran across the ring. I chased after him, and he's standing there, and he's staring at something, which I don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking at me like, "Well, speak up."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Okay.
so I called it. I said, "Rat," and the judge said, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh my God." So then I got him to go through the tunnel and onto one of the bales of hay.
Uh-huh.
We come back in to get the ribbons. I had no idea what order we were going to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Rio, first place.
Mm-hmm.
First place. Rio got over the dogs that
Nice.
were to find the rats. So
Right.
it was just amazing day. So he's done barn hunting. He's done there's something called farm dog,
Uh-huh.
where it's basically the skills of a dog. It's kind of like a canine good citizen, where
Uh-huh.
the dog has to show different positive abilities of
Mm-hmm.
working on a farm.
Right.
And so you have to do about 12 different items, such as walking past a sheep and being well behaved,
Mm-hmm.
um, going through different courses around the animals, um, different things like that, meeting up with a
Right.
person and being well behaved and
Right.
friendly. So there's different things like that. He's done that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's done the sheep herding, which I described a little bit about, and we've had a lot of fun with the sheep, and we're
Mm-hmm.
still continuing to do that. We may try actually duck herding
Okay.
as he gets a little older.
Right.
The ducks are a little easier. They don't run as fast and
Oh,
as
okay. All
far.
right. Okay.
So we might give that a go.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, we've tried quite a number of things. We've done our doggy dancing, which has been a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fun. There's venues where one can get titles for the dancing,
Mm-hmm.
and I recommend highly if anybody is interested. It's something you could do at home,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun to watch too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of YouTube videos, and I
Mm-hmm.
recommend. There's a show in England called Crufts, a dog show, Crufts,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they have a huge dog show, and part of it is doggy dancing that will just amaze
Mm-hmm.
you. It's something to watch. Um, so we've done that, and most of all, most rewarding of all is the therapy dog work that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
We are a certified therapy dog team. We go to a nursing home hospice, and
Mm-hmm.
we go there 2 to 3 times a month and cheer up the residents. Many people who can no longer have pets,
Right.
and used to have a lot of pets, dogs, cats, farm animals, and they just love to see Rio. He
Mm-hmm.
walks in and people cheer. People are
Okay.
just so happy to see him and to pet him, and he's so gentle too. He knows who needs the most love. There's been
Mm-hmm.
people in the hospice pretty much that um, Rio walks in and he goes over to them and just gives them a kiss or two,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets the most positive reactions. People just say, "Rio, I love you. Thank you for being here."
Right.
And he's cheered up people. People who have not felt well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll always ask, "Would you like to see Rio today?" And one person who typically sees Rio said, "I'm not feeling well today. No, I don't want to see Rio." So
Mm-hmm.
Rio just looked at him and just walked over right away and
Mm-hmm.
nudged the guy's arm.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman's face broke out in a smile and said, "Rio, you're the best medicine ever." And and just started petting Rio and smiling. I mean, it was magic. He just brings magic into people's lives.
All right. Nice. Nice. Okay. So, Joni, there are a lot of books out there with stories of animals, dogs, I think of the works of such nonfiction authors like James Herriot, as well as, fictional stories, sorry, like, Old Yeller and so on. What is it about your book that make someone want to think of picking it up and reading it?
It's a true story. It's very
Okay.
heartwarming. It's very inspirational to people that love dogs,
Mm-hmm.
love pets, ever had a pet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who is in need of any sort of inspiration in their
Mm-hmm.
life. It's very motivational. It's so upbeat. It Folks have told me it touches every emotion that they have. It's someone else told me that love comes off of every page in the book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's getting 5-star reviews on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
um, and people are just loving it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just came out in November and it's doing well. I've been doing book signings and people just love the book.
Right. Right.
People have told me, and one of my endorsements said that she thought that she had read every book about dogs, that
Hmm.
there was a story that she hadn't heard.
Right.
But she quotes the quote, but as I was reading Joni's book, I realized that I was in the possession of something very special, a beautifully written love
Right.
story that is once unique to Joan and Rio.
Right.
Um, so it's different. It's different.
Okay.
It is a true story and
Mhm.
very touching.
All right. Nice. Cool. Okay, so Joni, in the last minute or so of this interview, are there any words of wisdom you'd like to share to maybe inspire our listeners?
Oh, geez, there's well, read my book. You're going to get a lot of inspiration.
Okay, okay.
But there's so many things, and I think through my journey, one of the main things that I've learned is that the most important thing is love in
Mhm.
life. It's really about everything is about love. Love your family, love your friends, love your lovers, love your
Mhm.
pets. Life is short, and we
Mhm.
don't know how short often. So oftentimes, and usually, it's much too short.
Mhm.
So enjoy every moment, every single moment that you have. Make the best of it, and be kind to people.
Right.
Everybody is sent here for a purpose, and we don't always know what that is. And everybody has good days, everybody has bad days. But
Right. Right.
I write about, how so many angels with fur and human angels have entered my life, and some of them are here for the long term.
Mhm.
Um, my parents were with me quite some time, but other people are angels too. They might be that person that just opens the door for me when I'm struggling carrying a bunch of things. They're people sent there, angels sent to help you out. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's all about love. I mean,
Mhm.
just be happy and love, and life will be much better.
Right. Okay. Cool. Great words right there. Okay, then, so in closing, the book is Rio, a love story, How My Dog Saved My Life. The authors are our guest, Joni Darc Shepherd, and you can find her book on Amazon. So, Joni, thank you very much for being an author story. It was a real pleasure to listen to you, talk about your times with Rio.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right, you're welcome. So, everyone, check out Rio, a love story, as well as the other books we've featured on our channel. So, see you guys all next time on Author Story, where we speak to another awesome author about their book.